What's up, everyone? Brandon here for Red State, and Tulsi Gabbard is continuing to be a huge pain in the rear end for the Democrat Party. Despite the fact that she left it, she continues to haunt the Democrat Party. Now, this all started not this year when she left the Democrat Party. It happened a long time ago, back in the yesteryear of 2020. It was actually 2019 during the Democratic primary debates when Tulsi Gabbard took down Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was the Democrat Party's favorite for the 2020 election at the time. She had all the right qualifications in that she had the right skin color and sex. And on top of that, she would pretty much be the easiest to control. She's willing to be controlled by the Democrat Party, by the DNC. So she was pretty much up front and center, their favorite. Tulsi Gabbard runs in and just completely wrecks her in front of the whole United States during a debate. And the Democrat Party never forgave her for that. And it's something that continues to follow Kamala Harris around. But now, not just Kamala Harris, as I'm going to show you. But let's first go ahead and take a look at that moment. Let's go ahead, and this is during the Democrat primary debates, that legendary moment when Tulsi Gabbard took down Kamala Harris and ruined her chances of being elected president of the United States.
What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
So at that time, Black Lives Matter was a huge deal. It was currently rampaging across the United States. To have someone point out that Kamala Harris was not at all someone who would champion not just Black lives, but anyone within the criminal justice system was a huge blow to Harris. And it should be noted that she was flying high in the polls up until that moment. She ended up dropping points left and right after that. And soon, she was actually forced to kind of depart from the primaries. She dropped out. She would later obviously go on to become Joe Biden's VP because Joe Biden was told by various groups within the Democrat Party that if he didn't have a woman of color as his running mate, then they were not going to vote for him at all. So the Democrat Party capitulated, and naturally Kamala Harris was chosen, not Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard would continue to be a huge problem for the Democrat Party going forward. She was always speaking out the truth, sticking to the Constitution when the Democrat Party wanted to effectively disobey it, pointing out hypocrisies left and right. She would start going on conservative talk show hosts programs such as Tucker Carlson and start talking there. She made a name for herself being the Democrat that the Democrats were supposed to be. Tulsi Gabbard represented something like an older Democrat Party, a more centrist Democrat Party, something that many people, both on the left and the right, could kind of sort of get behind. However, as she spoke, the radicalism of the Democrat Party forced people to turn away from her. They rejected her. And she kind of noted on the Joe Rogan program, or Joe Rogan Experience, his podcast, that this was the moment, that moment with Kamala Harris was the moment that Tulsi Gabbard truly started to be an enemy of the Democrat Party, not by her own decision, but by theirs. In fact, when she first was elected, she was the toast of the town. She was that woman of color that they had been looking for. She was smart, articulate, stood for a lot of things that they did, but as the party continued to migrate left, Tulsi Gabbard found herself becoming more and more ousted. And now and when she started becoming a little bit more anti-Democrat when it came to some of their policies, they decided that she just was not the person that they wanted to hold up. Instead, they took the easier to control route with Kamala Harris. Now, Tulsi Gabbard kind of confirmed this later on. You know, the moment that she took down Kamala Harris was the moment that the Democrat Party turned on her. Not voters, per se, but the DNC itself. She noted that she fit all the qualifications, Kamala Harris, because of her skin color, because of her sex, but not just that, but because she was easily controllable. Now, these are things that all continue to haunt Kamala Harris down the line. She cannot speak out when it comes to social justice matters or criminal justice matters, because when she does, that record is thrown back in her face. She's almost been rendered completely useless. Her unpopularity followed her around everywhere after that. The only thing that people could come up with in her defense was, well, you know, if you're making fun of Kamala Harris or you resist her for any reason, then chances are you're either racist, sexist, or a mixture of both. But it's not flying anymore. People just do not like Kamala Harris. And it doesn't help that she has gone on to basically be the most useless VP on the planet that we've ever seen. She was put in charge of the border, and she has done absolutely nothing but in fact, the problem has just continued to get worse and worse and worse, with absolutely nothing happening from Kamala Harris to make it stop. More than that, you have had repeatedly many of her I would say her inner staffers leave one by one. Now, while admittedly a lot of staffers in the White House end up leaving at some point in term, hers was more like a deluge, and it was always at the top. And there was rumors floating around that, you know, working for her was horrible, the stressful work conditions. She was hypercritical, nasty to people. It's just not looking good for Kamala Harris. For Tulsi Gabbard, however, Tulsi Gabbard's star only rises. It continues to get more and more influential, especially on the left, especially ever since she left the Democrat Party. She seems to represent something that the Democrat Party should be, not what it is currently. And people are taking notice. In fact, her positions, her anti-war positions, are one of the biggest factors that people are pleased with her for. It's actually something that many centrists, people on the right and the left, kind of come behind her to support her on. Now, this includes AOC. Now, AOC, this is up at redstate.com right now. Go to redstate.com, sign up for the VIP program, use promo code SAVEAmerica. It'll get you 40% off, and you're going to get all sorts of stuff on the site that you would not normally get for just being a front pager. Definitely check it out. But definitely check this out. AOC gets shouted down at her own town hall, proving her time as the left sweetheart is over. Now, the interesting thing about why they were shouting her down was her support for the Ukraine war, which is bringing us closer and closer to what many people believe is a nuclear war. And they are invoking the name of Tulsi Gabbard when they do it. Tulsi has apparently affected the minds of the Democrat Party, or many voters within the Democrat Party, to the point where they are starting to get on board with her line of thinking. Let's go ahead and watch this. This was at a town hall that AOC was putting on, and I want you to pay attention to a few things. One, the people who are yelling at her and what they're saying. Two, how many people are attendance in this town hall?
Congresswoman, none of this matters unless there's a nuclear war, which you voted in weapons to Ukraine. Tulsi Gabbard, she's left the Democratic Party because there are a bunch of war hawks, okay? You originally voted, you ran as an outsider, yet you've been voting to start this war in Ukraine. You're voting to start a thermonuclear war with Russia and China. Why are you playing with the lives of American citizens? You're playing with our lives.
There will be no neighbors if there's a nuclear bomb. You voted to mobilize and send money to Ukrainian Nazis. You're a coward. You're a progressive socialist. Where are you against the war mobilization? He's telling the right truth. You have done nothing. Tulsi Gabbard has shown guts where you've shown cowardice. I believed in you, and you became the very thing you sought to fight against. That's what you've become. You are the establishment, and you are the reason why everybody will end up in a nuclear war unless you choose to stand up right now and denounce the Democratic Party. Will you do that? Yes or no? Okay, simple. Are you going to stop nuclear war? Yes or no? There is no line, because this is bullshit. None of this matters if we're all dead. None of it. You know that.
Notice the amount of people that are there. First off, this is AOC, who is the equivalent of a celebrity in the United States, or was. AOC was one of those people that you just do not oppose. Her fellow Democrats were terrified of her. In fact, many of them would try very hard to imitate her. This includes Elizabeth Warren, Beto O'Rourke, and others. You know, all of them wanted to get behind a camera and do their own Facebook lives or adopt her policy positions. But now you see that this celebrity that she had has worn off. There, I would not say are a lot of people at this town hall. And those who have come, some of them, as you can see, are very angry about her support for war. Democrats were previously an anti-war party. Now they seem to be war hawks. And they are more than willing to get us into trouble with other nations, nuclear nations, including Russia and China, where this is something that Tulsi Gabbard had a huge problem with. And it's one of the reasons that she decided, as she said, to leave the Democrat Party. And now you see people actually applauding the idea that Tulsi Gabbard was right at this town hall. So Tulsi Gabbard might have left the Democrat Party, but she continues to be something influential within it. Not only that, just like she demonstrated back in 2019 against Kamala Harris, she continues to be a huge pain for them. A person who is making a lot of trouble. What will we see from Tulsi Gabbard in the future? I do not know yet. Just because she left the Democrat Party, it does not mean that she is ready to become a Republican. She might just be an independent. I don't know if she's going to run for public office in the near future. I think that she very well might. She's keeping herself in the spotlight, that is for sure. But what kind of party is she looking to create? Honestly, I don't know. I do not know. I think, though, that whatever she does, it probably will be influential. I think it probably will, in the future elections, cripple the Democrat vote. Because many Democrats are apparently in agreement with her. And there have been reports that the Democrat Party is shrinking. Since 2020, since the Joe Biden election, Joe Biden campaign won the election, over 1 million people have swapped from Democrat to Republican. So the Democrat Party is sort of kind of emptying out. I'm pretty sure Tulsi Gabbard is going to have an influence to further the numbers on that. We'll see. But it's not looking good for the Democrat Party right now, especially if one of its leaders is more unpopular than ever, all with help thanks to Tulsi Gabbard. And Tulsi Gabbard is influencing people to go after who was considered the left's sweetheart for a long time. Putting Tulsi Gabbard's beliefs on display for people to applaud. So we'll see. Tulsi Gabbard, huge problem for the left. And you know what? I hope she continues to be so. Hey, like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.